paid versus owned versus earned media strategies. Welcome to the Marketing Clubhouse on Clubhouse. This is where you get great information, you get value, and you get strategy. And in today's room, we're going to be talking about how you can create a pathway for your business to grow using organic and paid strategies. And in today's room, we're going to cover areas that you can grow and build a strategy for your business, for your brand, when you start thinking about how you can differentiate the two, differentiate the three, and then put all three in together and ask yourself, what do you want to do with that one information? What do you want to do with that one piece of information? Now, paid media is great, owned media is great, earned media is great. These are all great ways of building. And a lot of people don't really know the value of it, but it all boils down to how you show yourself out there. How do you build your business? Hey, T. Nicole, welcome. Thanks for being here. Good morning. Thank you, everyone, as well, for joining. You are all welcome to the room. We're going to have some great content, discussions today. So if you have anything that's striking that you want to say, please come on stage. Also put in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions. The floor is yours. So welcome, everyone. Good to see you all here. So, and I see as well, Seven Amma as well. Welcome. You just joined Clubhouse. So welcome to the app. It's good to have you here as well. John, welcome to the room. Thank you for being here today. This is great because I feel like there's a lot of, talk on paid, owned, earned strategy, media, personalities. So we have to talk about that and see how that can grow, for our business. Hey, John, how are you?
Very good. Just left the doctor's office and thrilled to be here with you. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Happy Thursday. Hope you're okay.
Yeah, dermatologist's office. A lot of freezing and a couple biopsies, but all's good. I'm used to it.
Okay. Awesome. It's
We've
good to
met.
have you here with
You
us.
know how pale I am. I burn looking at pictures of the sun.
I know. I can't wait to see you again, John. Actually, it's been forever. We need to catch some coffee. We need to meet up soon again. But thank you, John. I'm glad to have you here. Always, always, always with us. You guys should follow John, an amazing guy, and he's great with podcasts. He's great with media. He has a whole lot. So just tap in and check out, and you'll be able to be amazed and also learn a couple of things as well. So thanks for being here, John. We just kicked off the room, and I know we want to understand, break down, demystify, pretty much solidify the fact that if you have a plan to grow your business, you have to use one of these three options. And most times people go to paid first before owned, and it's weird. And then they might want to do earned after, they do the paid. So it's like they're skipping the owned and just going right into paid and say, okay, I'm just going to pay for someone to, do an ad for me so I can run my business for a month. I'm looking for 5 clients. And then from there, you just run a paid ad, and then you get leads, and then you don't earn anything because you didn't require the service. Like, it feels so backwards. So the way it looks right now, it's paid versus owned versus earned. In reality, it should be owned first, after owned, then paid, and after paid, then earned. Welcome, Dr. Sharon. Good to have you here. Good morning. John, I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
That's the exact strategy I use. About 75% to 80% of all my activity is organic or owned media, focusing on searchability and podcast directories, really focusing on social media and what produces results. And lastly, search. That's all stuff that's within a wheelhouse. Then paid, and I'm doing a little bit, mostly of It's a cross between, I can't go into a lot of details, I'm still testing this. The podcast, which you and I talked about in Chicago, we have a strategy that we're testing where it involves paid advertising to score very high in the Apple Podcast charts. The goal being to get it in the top 12 so that your show shows up in the Apple Podcast app. So we got to 23, which is pretty impressive with the Apple United States in documentaries. And the other one is I really focus most of my attention on getting paid likes and follows on Facebook as a strategy, more so than uh, pushing or I don't boost anymore, more than doing ads. But and lastly would be the earned or podcast swaps or barter spots. That's what I call them, where I do something for you, you do something for me.
Oh yeah, definitely. I like that. And one area too, just to add on to what you said, is Pinterest too, because Pinterest has this dichotomy. I call it a dichotomy because it's like a two-way street that's parallel, but still has access to things you can create and expand on with just one asset. And it's like breaking a nut into two or cracking a nut into two. So when I look at Pinterest as well, you can get organic, which is owned. You can also get paid, which is what you can pay for on Pinterest as an ad, and you can get earned media. So even after you've done the ad, let's say you've run an ad for 90 days, and day 91, day 92, day 93, day 100, day 105, it keeps going. Whatever you paid for in those first 90 days, it's like you nested something. Like you put something in a nest, you let it, crack, harvest, you let it hatch, you let it grow, you let it like, build its own, resilience, and then you just let it fly. And what I mean by that is with Pinterest, when you start seeing people that save your ad, which happens, so if your ad is really powerful, people are going to save it to their boards. So when they save it to their boards, it means that the names of the boards that they saved it to are the name triggers, the keyword triggers you as a business owner, you as a marketer, you as an advertiser should pay attention to, so that those are the same words you come back to the front of the of the fold and talk about those things. So if they're talking about, oh, I'm saving this into my small business tips, Pinterest board, then I know that this person is looking for small business tips. Then I know, okay, this person is probably looking for financial literacy. They're probably looking for Amazon books. They're probably looking for podcasts. They're probably looking for, grants. They're probably looking for, you start thinking like on a completely different spinning wheel. That way you start thinking outside the box and use that content to really ask yourself, okay, if I'm going to do owned media and I'm going to talk about small business tips for restaurants, for example, right? What am I going to say differently from the other person on social media that they've not heard before, but can hear from me and learn from me? Because everyone is doing the same thing on social media these days. Everyone's using the same carousel. Everyone's using the same, template. Everyone's using the same, AI caption. Everyone's using the same thing. So there's nothing new, right? But when you own your media and you incorporate your brand into it, it changes the scope on how people look at your brand a year or two later. Before I joined the Clubhouse room, I was in a LinkedIn audio room and I just connected with two people. One of them, she's in the UK, the other one is in Bosnia, and they're talking about free, like free versus paid. Should you charge in advance for your paid? Should you pay in advance? Should you charge in advance? Should you pay for money? With money to say, okay, I'm going to pay for an influencer, quote unquote, or am I going to earn the influencer's time by working with them collaboratively? What am I going to do? Is it going to be a plan that I'm going to do for 6 months? Is it something I'm going to do for a year? So many questions you have to answer, and those are things that you have to keep in mind. Welcome, Monty, and Nozzle was just here. It's good to see you guys here again. When you create the intention of building media, because I didn't want to say like earned marketing or earned SEO or earned, digital, this, that, it's media. When you break down media, it's a file format. It's either text, it's audio, it's video. Let's go back to the basics. So if you have owned media, an owned podcast show, an owned YouTube channel, an owned blog, an owned newsletter on LinkedIn, an owned something, then you're building the tenacity of your content to grow in a way that when someone catches your content a year or two from now, 10 years from now, they can still read back on that content and be, excited to know that, okay, this is exactly what I wanted to learn as a business. And I took that information and I was able to use it, a year from now, 2 years from now. So when you think about the strategy you're building, for your business, before you even put a dollar to your organic, post, think about how far that post can go without you spending money on it. Because if you spend time on that post, the right people will see it and it will go really, really far. I was looking at my friend was showing me his Instagram just the other day. I think it was yesterday, and he's been posting so much content and he's growing. We just had a crazy like fitness expo here, and it was really, really exciting to see in Houston. And it's on a tour. They're going to be in different places. They're going to be in Miami. They're going to be in different places. And the one that we just had here in Houston, he really went out with his own media, taking videos, taking photos, taking content, just doing content, and not everything is even out yet. But he showed me his stats, and he got like, I would say like 95% more people that are not following him checking out his posts than the people that are actually following him. Why am I bringing this up? YouTube, same thing. When you have a subscriber count, let's say you have 100 subscribers, but let's say you have 100,000 people watching your video that are not subscribed to your account. Would you rather have 100 subscribers or 100,000 people that have not subscribed to your account that are watching your video? So when we look at the basics, we look at the KPIs, when we look at our, which stands for key performance indicator, those are things that you want to mention, you want to look at, you want to grow, right? But those are not the metrics that you should focus on entirely, because if you keep looking at that subscriber count instead of focusing on the impact you're making in people's lives, then I think you're misaligning the factor or the priority here. John, what are you thinking? And welcome, Andrea.
You made a lot of good points. So I would rather have 100,000 non-subscribers checking out my stuff. It's always about. I look at. I used to think, and I'll translate this into sales. The goal was to get people to buy my product, or the goal was to get them to listen to the radio show and support the advertisers and all that stuff. The goal is, like, for example, if I want to get hired for a job as an independent contractor or whatever, my goal is now to get the interview, because nothing can happen until that occurs. Absolutely nothing. So now my goal is to get their attention, and then get them to take some other action, and not to put the end result in mind first. Put that last. And the first thing is to get their attention in a very crowded marketplace. That's the really difficult thing to do, and that's where I think your strategy is about owned, paid, and earned advertising really comes to the forefront.
Thank you, John. Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's the meat and potatoes too, because like people are online socially connecting, building connections, building lists, but it's like, what's really going on? Are you really building connections, or are you just posting for posting's sake? It comes to a point where you have to ask yourself, okay, if this is owned media, then do I really own it? And what equates the ownership for your business to count uh, as a value, or as a, let's, I can call it a property value asset that is, you know really, I'll call it like it's a positive value for your business, right? Is the fact that if you have this owned media, then it also means that you have an email list that you are connected to. You're building a community outside social media, because if Facebook goes down today, we've seen it a couple times. If Instagram goes down today, if TikTok goes away, if TikTok, you wake up in the morning, we don't have TikTok, what are you gonna do? A lot of businesses are gonna stop. A lot of businesses are gonna, be in the, it's gonna happen, right? But people kind of don't prepare. It's like we don't prepare for the rain, but we prepare for the sunshine. It's weird. So if you focus on just giving quality, 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 quality all the time, and you're giving it 100% every time you show up, then the episodes that you've released 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that same passion transcends through the microphone because people are listening to the energy you gave at the time that you possessed it and gave it out to the people that are receiving it. So when you're creating content and it's owned media, you have to equate that to email lists. You have to build a list, right? When people unsubscribe from your list, that's a good way to clean it up. If you've paid for an email list and let's say you have 300 people on your list and 180 people are not active for the past 6 months and you're paying for that, you're spending money, you're wasting money, right? So you have to think about your business. How are you creating content that can elevate you? And some people don't like to hear the hard truth. It's true. But I come to realize that when you start doing things and working on yourself and always improving yourself, it gets better. Like I use a platform called Flowdesk, right? That's unlimited subscribers, unlimited emails, so I don't have to worry about the subscriber count. But I do also go ahead and delete people that I don't see active. Like I send an email and say, hey, we're going to delete this, we're going to clean it up. I don't do it all the time, but I do it very often because I focus on delivery. The same way Amazon prioritizes delivery is the same way your business should prioritize delivery. Because when you deliver something in a plate, you serve someone with some food in a plate, it looks good. You serve someone with a video, it looks good. You took care of your video, you took care of your audio, you took care of the presentation is clean, right? You took care of your presentation, you put it out there for people to see. Then people will perceive it and also receive it in a way that you want to, the energy you're giving is what they're receiving. So as you're building your paid media through owned media first, the way you receive that earned media is how you positioned your owned media first. Because if you look at someone today that's getting good reviews in a restaurant, at a hotel, the reason why they are earning that good review is because they focused on owning their property, owning their brand, right? Owning the customer experience. Because if something goes wrong and a customer is not happy and they lose money and it's on that person's account, then that's a problem. That's a liability, right? So, how do you improve building performance and minimizing errors by failing forward? And that's why you have to keep doing owned media. Sometimes it may hurt, sometimes it may take some time, but at some point when you realize that you do need this to happen for you and you do need to make this work, then that email list that you've been building is going to be the email list that is going to come back to you years later and thank you for being consistent, because that's where you start to see growth, from a starting scale. What do you think about that, Andrea? Welcome.
Oh, hey, thanks. Yeah, so let me just rewind back here a little bit. When it comes to paid versus owned versus earned, right? I typically like to categorize the owned media first. Paid media is always last for me. That's my thought process. Because if you can't get traction on owned and earned, then you haven't solidified your messaging properly, right? Paid to me feels like you should always implement that when you're very clear about what the objective is, right? When you've tested from owned and earned media, then you can spend and throw in a lot of money in getting your return on ad spend, or your conversion. You have the metrics already. So a lot of people, when they first start their online business or they're trying to market their business, they immediately run to an ad agency or they start using or playing with ads, right? um, but here's the thing, running the ad just for the sake of, like, you got like a $500 Google credit or something like that, right? Or maybe you're a nonprofit and you have like a ad grant that's available for you to spend. And I've worked with a lot of agencies and companies that have actually a lot of free money to spend on ads. The thing is, it's almost like a useless activity, right? Because you didn't build the foundation and understand with clarity what you're promoting, why you're promoting it, what the objective is. Um, and owned and earned media give you that opportunity to be clear, right? So the clarity is so important. You're just wasting money at the end of the day if you spend it on paid because you don't have a clear flight path to the conversion. So I always say, like, owned and earned, that's the best place to start. It starts with just knowing what are the foundations to put in place. Do you have a website? Is it optimized for SEO? Are you tracking your keyword, your traffic, and the keywords that are actually getting you the money, right? Are you evaluating your bounce rate? The things that you're putting into this business that you own, right? Um, are you optimizing that before you start spending money on ads? And just these are foundational, right? And a lot of things, for example, this is a small hack that I employ across all websites, right? So I see that there's a lot of traffic coming in, right? We might have, 30,000 hits this month, right? On a website, it's ranking, the content is doing well, it's relevant traffic, but the bounce rate is atrocious, right? We say that 60% of people who land on the web page do not subscribe. That just one simple implementation of, like, a pop-up or an overlay or something like that, right? Or positioning of, an opt-in form that directs people to not just leave your page when they land in the first 2 minutes, but direct them to an offer that's relevant to your business. That one thing could generate you more money. But because you said, oh, I wrote the blog and it's optimized and it's indexed, and maybe you hired someone to do that, but you need to know the nuances, the intricacies of why SEO is important. What's the point of it all anyway, right? So when you make that slight modification on things you own, you all of a sudden change the bounce rate from 60% to 30%. Now that 30,000 hits that you're getting on your website every month leads to leads, then sales, right? But if you didn't think like that, like optimization, the first step is doing it, the next step is making it better and better over time, then you just left so much money on the table. But migrating from, like, oh, my bounce rate is 60%, and then I go and start paying for ads, guess what? Now you just paid more money for more people to leave your page in 3 minutes. And that's a small thing that I always really like to look at is what is the bounce rate? What is the user flow? Where are people going? Or if I have an email list of 1,000 people, what am I doing with that list? Some people collect that email and then just leave it in their database, like collecting dust. You don't scrub your email consistently every month, so you're wasting a lot of time, energy, and money. You're not segmenting properly, so you're meeting people at the wrong stage of the funnel, and therefore the conversion rate is low. So you're wondering, why is it that my click-through rate is like 0.03% on emails that I send out? That's because they don't need that message, and you didn't bother to determine where's the source for where they opted in. You know, these are all like small optimizations that, at the end of the day, they drive so much more results in your business. So start with owned and earned versus paid, because then when you're at a paid stage and everything is like 100% firing, all the engines are it's going. You know what your objective is, and you can return. You can get money back on your spend. So yeah.
Yo, Andrea, I think we should close the room. I think, yeah. Hey, Rocky, welcome. It's been a while. Oh, we cannot hear you,
I'm over here
Rocky.
talking on mute. I muted my roadcaster. Didn't even know it. Good morning, you guys.
Hey, good to have you, Rocky. It's been a minute. How have you been?
I've been good. I've been good. Staying out of the way and hidden for a while. I just started doing my rooms again. So I just been focusing on me and my business, and it has been doing numbers. So I'm super excited about that. I think sometimes you have to pull away, focus on you, your mindset, your family. Like, I realized that I was pouring way too much into other people, and it was draining me and burning me out. So I had to step away for a minute.
Good to have you back. It's always good to detox and, come back. I hadn't been on Clubhouse too for a while. I had to sort some things out. Life was lifing, so now I can easily come back and do some things because I don't want to serve from a point of hurt or a point of disadvantage, because I want to be here and give you my 100% and not give you 99%. So thank you, Rocky, and welcome back. It's good to have you here. Anisha, good to see you. Just wanted to acknowledge you. Jermaine, good to see you again, man. It's been a while. And Hafi as well, thank you for being here. Andrea said a lot, and I want to hear from you too, Rocky. What do you think paid, owned, earned? And I'll go to you, John.
Oh, I want to clarify because I liked what Andrea said. Is it Andrea or Andrea? Because people say it differently.
Oh, it's Andrea. Thank you for
You're welcome.
asking.
Because I hate when people botch up Rashida. Um, so I know paid. I know owned. What is earned media? I haven't heard about that. I would like to hear what earned media is. And then I'll say what I had to say.
Yeah, so earned media is, I would call it, I kind of put it in a two-way street. So earned media is simply like reviews you get, I would call that off-page SEO too. So if you're earning media, it means like, Andrea was talking about, if you have owned media and you do a service for someone, they give you a review, then now you take that organic post plus the earned media, which is the review post, maybe on Google or Trustpilot or Facebook, wherever you get your review from. Even if it's a video testimonial, that's earned media because it's coming in either text, audio, or video format. So you can take that earned media and then use that as maybe like UGC content in a way, quote unquote. And that can now be your earned media because people are using your product and talking about your brand to, build their service. So that way people can be able to connect with you. And then another way too, when I talked about it on Pinterest, is if you spend money on Pinterest as an ad, you get earned media because it's pretty much like a residual, I can call it a residual social currency flow where you've paid for someone to see your content. And after you stop spending the money, like on Pinterest, because they saved it into their board, they can still see your content, after the ad has been displayed. And you don't see that a lot on other social platforms. So you're earning media because you spend time giving someone something organically. They paid for that information, or they paid for someone to see that information, and then now you can earn it because now the person that is seeing that content is now giving you feedback, which is now building your brand and PR.
Okay, so I'm going to say that now that you explained it, I liked earned media more because that is good for your conversion. When people see that other people want to work with you and you have the social proof, then the money really starts to come in. And I have to talk about money because that's like the goal for me. Um, so with earned media, for example, I have my group coaching program. They're finally taking action and seeing results. And every day they message me, "Oh my God, Rocky, I got this many views, this many views." And I just screenshot it and put it in my highlights, and I share out my highlights as social proof. So anything that is earned, it is from you putting in the work and people proving that the system you created has worked. And so I think when other people see that, then of course they're going to want to hop on because you've done that for other people. You're not just talking about what you've done for yourself, because the trust factor isn't always there when we tell people, "Oh, I've done this," because they're like, yeah, okay, well, you fluff that up because it's you, but when it's others, it's a great return on investment.
Exactly. And Hafe as well was perfectly, he said it perfectly at the same time he was typing, and you said it too, Rocky. It is social proof because it's earned. Like PR is earned media. It's literally, you've earned that spot. If somebody highlights you on a magazine, it's earned media because you have something to offer. And it's still owned. It can be paid or free. It could be free. You might just get it for free because you're just, doing good and they just want to highlight you. Or it could be paid because you want to pay for that spot. So it could be free, it could be paid, but essentially the bottom line is it's earned media because it's something that's coming from somebody else's perspective, from somebody else's audience, from somebody else's community coming back to you, and that's referring your brand, your business, or your company as earned, potential. So it's the same thing. I think it's just said differently, but it's the same concept if we're doing it organically, and especially if it's for free and you're now getting it back, in return as earned media. John, what you thinking?
I like the idea, and I'm relatively new on Pinterest. I played with it a long time ago, and I've got an account and I post all the time. So when I get home from the doctor's office, I'm gonna look into that because I find that very promising. One good point that Andrea made is, and one of the things that I was taught a long time ago is, don't, if you're new, don't pay money for advertising until you've experimented. For example, if you're posting on Facebook, don't take a flyer on something it's unproven. work with something that's already got results that you didn't have to spend money on, that's got good engagement, that grows. You know that it's a winner. Use that for your advertising beforehand, especially if the budget is limited. If it's unlimited, I don't know why someone would be here, but let's assume that for most people it's a limited, finite resource. So work with something that you know has a proven track record.
Oh yeah, totally. I believe that. And if somebody sees your review, somebody sees your content, somebody sees your brand, then there's a way they feel. When I mention Target, you're gonna feel some type of way. If I say Walmart, you're gonna feel some type of way. If I say Tesla, you're gonna feel some type of way. Because the word I'm saying is not about the words, it's about the value of the word. So if someone sees your content and appreciates your content every time you show up, then you're building your brand. There's something I've been reading when it comes to open rates and click rates, because I've been doing a lot of research. Yes, subject lines matter. Yes, emojis. Yes, test. But what is going to increase your open rate and your click rate for your emails, even if you have a LinkedIn newsletter and you're getting an email from LinkedIn that, oh, the person's name posted something on LinkedIn and they open it, what is going to determine that open rate and click rate is not just the content inside, it's not just the technical SEO pieces, it's not just your DNS servers and all those things, it's your brand name. If somebody knows your name, if you have 1,000 emails and I can see your name, I'm going to open your email first before I open somebody I don't know because I know yours. So the open rate automatically happens. Now the click rate is depending on what you do with that email. But the open rate, that is what you have created. And that's what you're building over time because that brand is going to stand out. For me, I'm getting open click rates that are 14% now. And it's like, it's wild. On average 30% is an open rate now. So because of the name, so the consistency in posting, showing up, podcast, whatever, that's going on in the world, you're there and you're putting out your content because it's owned. SEO is owned media. You own your property, you own your website, you own your email list. I can say email marketing is owned media because it's also yours, right? Then when it's paid, then you can take that information, take your email list, and then use that email list and pay it out, right? You start connecting with people. So it's not just about creating content. Yes, content is king. I say context is queen. But when you put them together and you're building a brand, it's not about the content, it's not about the context. It's about the experience and the impact you're leaving behind. That's why they call it impressions. What is a lasting impression? If I meet you for the first time in person, what's the impression? I've met John in person, I haven't met everybody else in person, but I've met people on Clubhouse in person. I've met people on Clubhouse, virtually. I've met people, on Zoom. It's a different experience. So when you connect with people and then you get to know who they are and then you start building relationships, that's where the brand starts to build, right? It just takes its own form. But I think a lot of people focus on paid. They want to pay for social media influencers. They want to pay for this, they want to pay for that, but they don't want to pay with their time. Everybody has time to spend, but how you spend your time is 100% on you, right? If I spend 2 hours, I've been up since like 4 a.m. today because I slept really early. I said, you know what? I really want to get work done. If I have to spend 3 hours of my day to knock out 70% of my workflow, I'm going to do it. And now I can be on Clubhouse speaking because I've sent emails, I've scheduled content, I've put things together, and it's going. So it's all about where you show up and where you have the time. So if you do things correctly, the right people will come. Now, I want to ask you guys, John, Andrea, Rocky, and welcome Hidden as well. Good to see you, Shay. I see you jumping in there. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. If you were to do paid media, question is, we can go around the room and anyone can start. If you were to do paid media, what platform would you choose and how long are you going to run it for?
I'll start with mine. What I do for paid media is I use the primary platform is Facebook because I earn money based off performance on Facebook on several of my pages. So What I focus on is getting new likes or followers and only paying for the like or follower. So I get the benefit of the impressions, but I'm only paying for people to take action. And here's the reason being is studies have shown that on the mobile Facebook app, people check their Facebook page if you're connected with them on average 14 times a day. So that'll give you, on average, 14 times a day to connect with someone with your content if you can get them to follow you on Facebook. Then, secondly, and I'm not sure what terms to use this, it's really what I describe as the paid promotion to increase discoverability and rankings in Apple charts. Other than that, that's the two I focus on.
Oh, those are good ones, John. Yeah, I think that's like hyper target marketing. I like that. That's really, really good. Okay. Okay. Thanks, John. Andrea, what are yours? What are your top two?
Top two. Once the brand is established and there's actual traction behind the searches, it's going to be like Google keywords to advertise on our own brand or competitors' brands. Typically, it's just our own brand, and that's forever, right? Um, Even if our websites will rank at the top for those keyword phrases, we do want to at least manage our brand ads. So that's one. The other thing that I would do apart from Google is retargeting on Facebook. So we can drive the traffic directly to a page and then just do a retargeting sequence for Facebook, and that ensures that we're leveraging, the conversion properly because people have already seen it. They're contextually interested in the offer, whether it's software or service or anything like that. I just need to retarget them so that we can get them to buy, and that's it.
I love that. Okay. Okay. I like that we're having very different answers. It's keeping the room going. And if you guys are in the room chat as well, thank you, Jermaine, for saying that too. If you're in the room, welcome to Bar, and also Hidden and Howard. Good to see you guys here too. Put in the chat as well. If you're in the room and you're listening, please put in the chat what platform you would use if you were to run paid ads. And if you've done it before, then you can choose what you've chosen. But if you haven't done it before, where would you like to do it at? Rocky, what are your top two?
Well, I'm gonna say, oh, I sounded like a grown man. My bad, you guys. I'm gonna say Facebook and Instagram because they're together. It's one platform. I do the same thing as Andrea. I basically push ads into brand awareness so that new people can get to know me, follow me, engage with me, talk with me, and then I retarget them because I've established a no like and trust factor. I spend most of my time in the brand awareness stage in Facebook and Instagram. And then I convert them by retargeting. The second one, which I'm still learning, but oh my God, when we talk about the return on ad spend, Google Ads. I can spend $5 and get between 50,000 to 100,000 people. And I've been trying to, figure out how that works for my YouTube channel. So I'm still learning that, but the amount of impressions you get is crazy compared to Facebook and Instagram. So I'm still kind of learning, on those platforms. So I'm going to say Facebook and Instagram, and then my second would be Google Ads. I also want to let John know, John, I just signed up for newsbreak.com under your link. So I'm going through this
Yay,
now.
Rocky.
Is
Good deal. Favor's doing it.
he? Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm over here looking at the tens of thousands of rules, hoping I don't mess up. And then I'm going to go ahead and keep with that
The,
platform. So I wanted to say
the
thank you because that's
main
literally
thing
what I'm
with
doing right now.
that is make sure you have rights to use the photo. And they'll work with you. They'll ding you if they need something reformatted. But just start putting in content and experiment with stuff that you find out it's about building your domain authority and backlinks. So find a way to slip in that at the bottom of what you do. But you can do articles about just about anything, and they don't have to always be news related. They can be. We did one. We're gonna do more of the top 5 dog-friendliest cities in Florida as a way of getting more followers. So experiment and try it.
Yeah. So it's geared towards your local, right?
Yeah,
Because that's pretty much what I
local.
was like. Okay.
The main thing
Awesome.
is I go as local as I can. Oftentimes I'll do this, the county or the city if it's a big city. I'll do the state last, and I don't do entire U.S. anymore. Very rare.
All right. Sorry, Favor. I just had to give him a shout out because, yeah, I did it.
No, thank you for bringing that up. It's part of media because Newsbreak is amazing, and I learned about Newsbreak from John too. And I signed up. It's amazing. The things that you see on there, it's so different. And come to think of it too, there's only one person on YouTube that talks about Newsbreak on YouTube. So I mean, one person that I know. I don't know other people, but when the platform is so big, everybody's talking about the platform. But when it's not so big, you know, it's like one person or two people talk about it and they really expand on it. So y'all should check it out and see. He shows his receipts, he shows what he makes and everything, and it's real. Like people get paid to write. But I think people don't pay with their time because they're scared to write in the first place. But you got to put out something that someone can read and do it as a brand. And when someone experiences it, then they just love it. Content upgrades is where it's at these days. So if you want to do content upgrades, you have to do things that have rich value because that value in exchange can earn you time and earn you money over time because you've had a foundation you can set, for your business. So yeah, Newsbreak is amazing, Rock. You're gonna love it. So once you hit 10 articles and 100 followers according to like think the policies and their rules, then you can start monetizing, and John has all that information to give you. So yeah, it's going to be exciting for you. So welcome,
Oh,
Rock.
I'm gonna cheat. You know what I'm gonna do? So this is for Favor and John. John, you can let me know if this is cool or not. I'm gonna take all of my content from Instagram, my captions, and I'm just gonna repurpose those into articles because they're already done. I'll just make them a little bit longer and then post about it. That way, I'm not having a because I have a bad habit of starting from scratch. We a lot of times we already have a ton of content, and then we go on a new platform and we're kind of like, oh, now I got to figure out what to write, and I really don't because I already have it written out. I just need to transpose it over here.
I like the way you think, Rocky. You're not reinventing the wheel. So why not use the content you already have? Blog articles, what do you have? And here's a little cheat Julie and I have talked about, and I'll surrender the mic in a moment. You can take your existing text that you already have, whether it be blog posts or whatever it might be, you can paste them into a text pad and then run that through ChatGPT and say, rewrite this as a news article, free version. Do that a couple times. And if you've got attributions for other news sources, make sure you include that. But it's a great way to get in front of more people and make more people aware of your content. And you don't have to spend a ton of time doing it.
100%. I think so too. It's such a big thing, and that's what I did for my podcast. My podcast just launched on YouTube after it's going to be 5 years this year, August 12th, and I've always, like Dr. Fashion has always telling me, "Favor, get your podcast on YouTube." I'm like, I'm coming, I'm coming, and now YouTube released this feature where you can add your RSS feed to YouTube, and you can have a podcast channel on YouTube. So all the 350 plus episodes that are on my podcast, directory are literally plugged into YouTube now automatically. So I don't have to reinvent the wheel and upload 350 episodes. It's already done. It took about 3 days for me to sequence because I think they did it in cycles. So it starts off private. And then when all the published episodes are, queued into YouTube, then you turn your account to public. You turn the channel to public. And now it's giving me watch time. All the episodes that people listened to 3 years ago, 4 years ago, people are listening to them now. People are listening to me through PlayStation. And I know it's not my PlayStation because I've not turned mine on, my PS5. So I know that people are listening to it. I just got access to India. The RSS feed for me in India has opened up. So the podcast is just growing and it's just going and expanding to the point where I'm like, now it's time to have an academy because all these things I've learned in 5 years, I can tell it to you easily, and you don't need 5 years to get there because I'm giving you the access point. So that's what I'm building, and it's all about earned media because you're earning for things you paid for. Things Episodes you recorded on Clubhouse in 2020, 2021, 22, 23, and now 24. Those are things that if people hear today, tomorrow, 10 years from now, that can change their lives. But I think it's where we position our own media that loses the surface and completely, takes off the foundation because people can't find that information. If I wanted to refer you to a post I did 5 years ago, where am I going to send you to? What link do I have to send you there? So if you think about where you're owning your property, starting off with your website, then it makes it easier for you to have connections. It makes it easier for you to have connections with people that can build, over time. So thank you so much for that. Julie, Thank you for being here. I would love to hear your thoughts because you're an amazing person, and I love our connection, how we were able to even connect to a Creative Con. Just wanted to shout that out as well. You guys shouldn't miss the next one. I think it's going to be great for you guys to be there. Just wanted to give a quick plug to you, Julie. So we'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on paid, owned, and earned media?
I love this topic. This is like my jam. And yes, Creative Con 2025 is getting underway and it's going to be even better in a spectacular location. And I just have to get all my ducks in a row and then I'm going to do the announcement. And I hope to see all your faces again or see your faces for the first time because there's nothing more powerful than being in person with somebody else. Because John and Favor are like my best friends now. So because I met them in person, they're amazing. Uh, paid versus earned media.
First of all,
Oh
whatever, Julie.
yes, and you're
No, no, nope.
coming. You're my
Goodbye.
best friend. Oh, shut up. I invited you. You were like at a book signing or something. Um, you're coming to 2025, and
And I'm gonna like it.
you're
Yes,
gonna be
ma'am.
one of us, and you're gonna be one of the speakers too.
Oh, snap.
Snap. Okay, guys, so paid versus earned media. I listened to the news break thing. News break's amazing. And I remember one tip John gave me. I'm like, John, this is like a little salty here. He told me, he's like, take someone else's article and rewrite it. And I'm like, okay. So I tried that a couple times. It's just a great way to repurpose everything. We forget, we make things so hard for ourselves. It's ridiculous when we can just be taking our old content and making it new and refreshing it. Why do we work so hard? Paid ads, YouTube definitely works if you put a little money into YouTube. What I love about YouTube, we all know it's a search engine, and they give such great analytics on your podcast or your video. They give such great, like just down to like minutia in terms of who's listening, where are they, what sex are they, what age are they, what interests do they have, because when you sign up for YouTube they ask you all that sort of thing, so you get such a great insight into who's actually listening to you. I love putting money into YouTube. I also love Google ads as well, like Rocky mentioned, exponential. And the one, I don't know if you guys mentioned, putting some money into Pinterest, like that drives so many hits to my website. It's crazy. You can put $2 a day or $2, you know, you don't have to put a lot of money into Pinterest, and they make it so easy. And I'll let Favor take over because I don't want to talk too much. So, but those are my favorites.
Nah, Julie, you are spot on. You are spot on. We talked about Pinterest like about 30 minutes ago, and I'm glad you're bringing this back up because I had a feeling people don't look at Pinterest the way I see it and the way probably like Julie sees it. And it's also hard to see it if you've never tried it. Yesterday, I had a meeting with Pinterest because we're building up a strategy for the podcast academy. And if you guys are interested in that, please click the link above. If you want to join the podcast growth academy waitlist, it's going to lead you there. If you want to start monetize or scale your podcast, click the link above, and that will give you access to put your first name, email, choose the options that you want, and then you can also schedule a call with me if you'd like to, and that can also get us started to know exactly how you want to take your action for your podcast this year. Because my goal this year is to start monetize and scale 50 podcast shows this year. We're already down five. We've already done five, and it's in April. So this is something it's a personal goal, it's a business goal. It's something that I really want to do, especially in the fifth year. And that's why I'm also building this academy, because I feel like a lot of people want to start their podcast. There's a lot of, there's a lot of fluff, on about podcasts. And I want to cut the fluff out and give you guys the meat and potatoes so that you can really grow and become what you really need to be as a business. And I'm excited about this project. It's something I've been planning for a long time, but I didn't want to do it without making sure that I'm ready. So now I am. So please make sure you click the link above. And if you're serious, and I'm serious about this, if you're serious about starting a podcast and monetizing it and growing it for your business, this is where to go. So click the link above. And why I'm bringing this up is because I had a meeting with the Pinterest staff, because I talked to Pinterest and LinkedIn in between time for business clients that we have. And I spoke with Pinterest yesterday, and we're building a campaign. I'm not going to tell you the details, but essentially what we're doing is that we're doing a two-set campaign, a consideration and conversion campaign for the podcast waitlist. And right now, we've not even like completely, I've not even sent an email on this, and we already have about 5 people that have already signed up. And this is in the span of 3 days, and I've not said a word. It's just on Clubhouse. I've not sent an email. I've not run an ad. I'm just planning, and I'm already seeing the interest of people coming in. So now it's like I'm going to do a lot of questions, because I think the more questions I ask people in this academy, the faster the answers they can get. Because I don't want to tell you and regurgitate things that you've already heard before. I want you to ask your questions that will solve your problems, that will give you your solutions, that will help your business grow faster. So by using a platform like Pinterest, because it's evergreen, it's earned media. So if I'm running an ad and people want to know how to start a podcast, now I know, okay, I need to pick the number of keywords, the number of interests. This is the color I got to choose. There's so many semantics that go into, the sentimental value of what you're creating for the audience you're trying to connect with, right? So when you're building your business from owned to earned, like Andrea said, to paid, then by the time you're paying Pinterest, paying LinkedIn, paying Facebook, paying Instagram, paying Reddit, paying on different platforms, it's going to grow, right? And that is going to take your business from point A to B, because now you're in the place where people are actually listening to you. You have to know where your top audience is. I was telling this to someone yesterday. If you're a new business owner and you're trying to figure out where you want to start, if I started business from scratch today, welcome Lisa. If I started business from scratch today and I wanted to start from scratch, I'm going to start off with a podcast, right? I'm going to start off with a podcast. The reason why I'm going to start off with a podcast is because I can get my fastest audience closer to me. And if I can get my audience as close as I can to me, I can get to know exactly where they are. Like if I drop 10 episodes today, no budget, 10 episodes I drop in 10 weeks, or let's say speed that up in 5 weeks, drop 2 episodes a week, right? 10 episodes. Now I have data. I've put all my RSS feeds into the right directories, in the right places. Now I'm getting responses, and I know, okay, this city, this state, this country, this zip code. Now I know exactly where I'm going to run ads. How am I going to run ads to the whole US with $5 a day? Where is that going to take you? So if you're going to spend $2 a day in a zip code and get $5 back, I'd rather do that than spend $5 a day and trying to figure out where my audience is in the whole United States of America. So you have to really figure out like where your goal is and what you're really trying to do. So thank you so much for bringing that up, Julie, on Pinterest as well. Lisa, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this: paid, owned, earned.
Oh, can I add one thing real quick? Favor the what I like about Facebook when you talk about targeting and stuff like that. I love, and I don't know how Pinterest works. I'm sure Pinterest works like this as well, but the targeting is so pinpoint. Like I can choose, okay, social media managers, female social media managers, female social media managers with kids, female social media managers with kids in my local area of Williamsburg, Virginia. Like you can get so specific. So I'm gonna look at Pinterest. So it could, because if like for example, again, I'm trying to reach out to my local market, but if it's that pinpoint, oh my God, I would have so much fun with that. So thanks.
Oh yeah, totally. The thing with Pinterest, you can target zip codes. I don't know how all platforms work. I just love what I work with, but you can target zip codes on Pinterest and say, okay, because even for me, like when I was hunting, right, I use zip codes to find places. I use actual zip codes to know the state, the household income, the community. Is it a 1 bedroom? Is it a studio? Is there a crime rate here? Is there a school? Like I literally use my own research skills to research for homes, for apartments, for things, different cities. So if I'm new in an area, I can use zip code analysis to figure that out. So if you use Pinterest and you have a 10 zip code pack, I know, okay, these are the 10 zip codes that I'm going to advertise to, and I'm spending $5 a day here. And I know that I already get feedback from them through my owned media. I'm paying money to get earned media back. Then why would I not spend that money in the zip code that people are already connecting with me? So it's a no-brainer for me, but it just depends on how you want to do it. Lisa, what's up?
Hey, Favor, were you just saying hi to me? I'm sorry. I got distracted for a half.
We're laughing at your confused gif.
Yes. well,
Yeah.
well, no, I was just thinking about um everything that he just shared, like how he wound up finding his home, looking up zip codes and looking up certain stats. That's, I mean, that's good business for anyone looking for a home. But yeah, there's so much information that's available at our fingertips. Not even our laptops and computers, but right in our phone. So that was very valuable information for all of us.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lisa. Yeah, it's a big thing. I've always been doing that. That's just been something I've been doing. I feel like if you do that, it just works, you know. You meet people, you connect with people, you learn new things, you grow, you make connections. Just be a good person, period. And that's just what's gonna happen. Things will come back to you, you know, in multiple fold. And I've learned the hard way, so you know, you gotta learn your own way too. So you just gotta grow, make your mistakes, fail forward, look up and just, you know, just be nice, period. So that's how you do it. Even with homes, when you're looking for homes, I got to learn this recently. This is like totally unrelated, but this could help somebody. When you're looking for a home, check out the place that you're gonna live in during the daytime and also drive there at night. See what it looks like in the daytime and at nighttime. Sometimes we look for homes in the daytime and forget about how it looks like at night. So check it out. Just do your own analysis and just run it up and see exactly what you're looking for. That way you can build into your business, you can build into your brand, and you can do a lot of good things, you know, that can take your brand to the next point. So this is a heavy stage and a heavy room today. So I really appreciate all of you that are being here. It's so good to see all the familiar faces on Clubhouse. This app is not dead. It's just that we need more people like us, you know, to be here so we can all connect and grow. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing some more information. We're going to wrap up in 30 minutes. This was supposed to be an hour room, but I have a really open day today. So I'm going to now pass the mic to you, Hidden. We'd love to hear your thoughts because I know you talked about segmentation when it comes to email. I would love to hear your thoughts from there. And then I'll come to you, Marcus and Niles. What's good, Hidden?
What's going on? How everybody doing this morning? What I was going to say though is, don't forget about things that you can exclude as well when you're doing these targeting. If you know that's not your audience, you can kind of exclude them. They kind of change a little bit of the rules on some of the platforms, but don't forget about exclusions. And also, when Rocky was saying you could drop a you could drop a pin on a location. So say it's a big convention for a specific niche. Instead of you going to the convention, you can run ads to that specific location by dropping a pin on it. So that's the one way that people don't think outside of the box when it comes to that. They think they have to go to the actual place and start promoting themselves, but remember everybody has have a device and that has an IP address, and once that phone passes that threshold, you can start receiving ads that way. So that's something to take into account.
Hidden, I see Google Ads search. So can you message me on Instagram? I need your assistance. I don't see your Instagram or anything attached, so I would have messaged you, but
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
and
But
also, I don't know if Google does this, but Facebook, Lord, I was calling Favor, but I said Facebook, but I'm about to talk about Facebook. I'm like, Facebook, did you know this? Favor. I also learned recently that I can target people that left. So I can say people that left this area within the last 30 days. So if they visited like one of our big areas, like a resort or a plantation, yes, they're still called plantations out here, then I can target them because they're vacationers. And in Williamsburg, they often come back for travel. So that one blew my mind. So yes, and thanks for that, Hidden. I didn't even think about excluding people.
Oh yeah, there's so many gems here. Hidden is a hidden gem, so you got a good one. Thank you so much for being here, Hidden. Appreciate you. Yeah, birthdays. Hidden said birthdays too. There are some companies, and the companies that actually come to think of it, there's a company I saw yesterday because we're building a website for a client right now, and there's something I noticed for a product e-commerce store that for some e-commerce stores, if you put, let's say, first name, email, of course, that's what happens. Some people put zip code there. for a reason. Because when you think about the sales you're making, when you look at your analytics from your Shopify store, from your Wix store, from your WooCommerce store, from any store, your Stripe, wherever, right? Whenever you look at the receipt, you're always going to see a zip code. So if you know that this zip code purchased from me, I have 20 products, and out of these 20 products, 20% of the people that purchase are from this zip code, why not go back into that zip code and retarget the audience, right? Because you know that this zip code, if they're wearing jackets, if they're wearing hoodies, if they're wearing t-shirts, if they like cups, if they love dogs, if they love cats, if they love to travel, if they love, sushi, you know those things because you're creating sentimental value around your business. When you start running ads, if you know they love sushi, then why not do an ad at a sushi restaurant? If you know that they love to, enjoy life and be outside, why not do an ad in the park? Why not work with someone and put that information out there? Because you're not just selling the product, you're selling the experience. That's why Coca-Cola does it so well. You always see that Coca-Cola bottle inside a fridge, or refrigerator. For those who say refrigerator, you see that, at the park, someone picking up from a basket, because you want to focus on the product. But essentially, the sentimental value is happiness, it's freedom. Coca-Cola is selling happiness, right? Nike is selling, that power within. So when you see that, it's kind of giving you that power within. So as a brand, what are you selling? What owned media are you selling? Is it something that you can put out there and say, hey, this is what I have? Or is it something that you're going to say, oh, yeah, I just got content, I'm just going to put content for content's sake? No, your content has to speak. And if every piece of content you put out there as a business, whether it's an audio podcast, whether it is a video, whether it's a blog, whether it is a PSA, whatever it is, make sure that it has 100% owned property value that you can endorse 10 years from now and say, yes, I said that, I meant it, and that's what has helped a lot of people because I learned and I lived that way. So if you're building content, don't just build content and say, oh, because everyone's talking about 5 tips to, tie a tie, I'm going to also talk about 6 tips to tie a tie. Don't do that. Be very specific with your audience and build an audience that by the time they're looking at your content a year from now, they still appreciate what you said. And the best way you can put that is in a podcast, in a video, on YouTube. Put it somewhere that people can see it. The internet is open, but what's really going to make sure that your business succeeds is when you have all this media formats on all these internet platforms, but you're also pointing them back to your website and, more importantly, to your email list. If you're building a strong email list and you have the data, you can always grow, because if you're selling content and you're putting it out there to people, you know their zip codes and you have their emails, there's no way you can't win. You just have to be very specific on how you target and also how you nurture your audience as well. So this is a great topic we're having. We have about 22 more minutes, and I wanted to pass it to you, Marcus, to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking? Thanks for joining us today.
What's going on, man? Happy Thursday, everybody. Man, paid versus owned versus earned media. So one, I think that the paid media part, that's gonna always be the part where you're making them rich, and it is ongoing. Like once you start doing paid media, you kind of get addicted to it. It's like being seen on a TV commercial, or hearing your radio ad. And then the best part about paid media is that once people hear you from those paid media platforms, they treat you different. So I told one of my homeboys the other day, he an artist. I was like, man, if you drop an album or a mixtape, and it can be a hit song. If you going around telling everybody to go watch it on YouTube, right, on the paid media, then you may get a certain response. But if you put that same song on the radio and pay for that placement, you get a totally different response. People treat you different. They feel like you're a celebrity. They ask you for your autograph. Your family reunion is a little different from last year when they hear you on the radio versus hearing that same song on YouTube. So you always want to get the right placement when it comes to paid media. And then any type of paid media, promotion, advertising, marketing, do it for the data and not for the dollars. There'd be so many people doing it just to be heard or doing it for the eyeballs or the exposure. They be doing it wrong. Same thing with social media posting. Everything should be for the data and not for the dollars. With the owned media, websites, blogs, newsletters, social media, that's all yours. it's all yours until they say it's not, until you can't log in no more. You know what I'm saying? So you owned it. It's yours. You can log in. You got the account options. You can post on Instagram and reach all those other people because you own that social media platform, that Instagram, that Facebook, whatever, right? But then earned media is the best one. I like the earned media because it's like if you in business, you can continue asking for reviews, getting testimonies, word of mouth. It's stuff that you earned over time, and that's the one piece of media that people can't take from you. You know, it's when your cousins, your customers are out speaking for you, advocating for you. That's the type of media that nobody is not paid. Is yours, but not really. It's the person that's actually putting the word out. So at the end of the day, do it for the data. I want to say that. I think a lot of times we do things just to be seen or be in the rooms. But if you're not collecting that data on the back end, then you can't make money for the rest of your family tree for the rest of your life. So I want to ask you, Favor, as far as the podcast and the mics, because I mean I got a podcast going. Actually, two. One of my biggest brands now is Black Wall Street. We almost got a million followers on IG, blackwall.st. And my question is, I'm working on my mics. Man, what kind of mics should I be grabbing? Because I don't want one good mic. I need 4 or 5 because I plan on having, panels and things like that. So any suggestions?
Ooh, good question. And I'll also pass this to John too, and so he can let you know what he thinks too. And I know Rocky's good with mics as well. For me, I've only had one microphone in my life, and I got this microphone in Dubai almost 10 years ago, and it's a UK brand called Sontronics. It's called Sontronics STC3X, and right now they have about a couple new ones called like a Podcast Pro. So right now, if you use that brand, it works for me. It's a condenser microphone. Everything works perfectly, and I've been using that microphone for my music, for my podcast. It's clean, and that's what I use. I don't think it's really the microphone. I think it's the acoustics and of course the mixing and what quality you're giving to your microphone. So that's what I would say on that piece as well, and that's what I use personally. What about you, John?
Well, I would say, first of all, treat your room acoustically where you do recording. That's the most important thing. But look at uh, to make it easy as possible, you're going to need an interface. Look, there's packages with Rodecaster Pros and I believe Rode microphones that a lot of them have. You can have all the hookups, everything else with 4 microphones, and be good to go. And plug it right in the computer and be good to record. That's one option. Other one is if I were going to go cheap but high quality, I would probably look for the Rode microphone before I go with the more heavier pricier options. I've had one microphone in my home studio that I bought in 1998. It is a RE20 Electrovox RE20 refurb. So it's more than 30 years old and it works great. A lot of it depends on your voice, but the amount of echo you have in your room, your hard surfaces, really is going to make a huge difference. So hopefully that helps you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Thank y'all, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for the room as usual. Paid, on, and earned. Yep.
Uh-oh, looks like Favor might have stepped away for a second. Favor, are you there or are you on mute thinking that you're talking? Maybe
Favor.
not. Can
Normally,
you
when we're on mute, we have the
everyone
best
hear me?
conversations.
Oh, what you say,
I said,
Rocky?
normally when you're on mute talking, we have the best conversations thinking y'all are listening.
Right. Well, I guess let's see. Marcus was just talking. Anyone on stage wanna, add to what we were just talking about the microphones? Anyone
Lisa,
have
real
any
quick, I would like
suggestions?
to ask the room on the mic side, but even on the YouTube versus like radio, why do you guys think that that's the case for advertisement? Why do we give more clout and influence to the radio music versus the YouTube music when it's the same
I,
art?
I'd love to jump in. So, when you're talking about promoting music, it's different. I come from a music radio background and a talk radio background. So the main thing is advertising on radio, you get in front of large numbers of people. With digital, whether it be YouTube or podcast or whatever it might be, you can focus on more segmented, smaller groups that more likely take action. So the two different beasts, one is about reach and the other one is about targeting.
John, could you explain the difference between the two?
Yeah, let's look at it this way. For example, let's just say you have a certain, I'm going to use music because Marcus brought that up. Let's just say you have a certain style of music. Music is not a good comparison because it's people who only like that genre of music. So you're not going to advertise a new hip hop artist on a talk radio station because more than likely the demographics are not going to match. However, if you have a restaurant or you have like Rocky has something that it can help improve people's earning capabilities, then you've got something that's got reach and numbers really matters. So getting in front of that news talk audience, you can get a lot more people. You might get 10, 20, 30,000 people hearing that ad. Where you look at YouTube or a podcast, let's just say we're going to take that Rockies example and we're going to narrow it down to people who are solo entrepreneurs that are hairdressers. Okay, I'm just going to say as an example. You want to find some show online in the digital world that is focused on hairdressing so you can pinpoint those who are most likely to consume your product. In a way, the music is a good example, but it's a bad example because you really, a lot of people are getting music nowadays not by radio like they used to when we were kids. They're getting it by Apple charts, they're getting it by iTunes, they're getting it by whatever and they're selling individual songs more so than albums. There's a big difference, but hopefully that explains the difference between reach and focus, Lisa.
Absolutely. Thank you, John. And I see Empress is up on stage. Empress, I saw you put your thumbs up. What did you want to add to this conversation?
I think John, I was just going to say that John was on point in terms of making sure you've got the right target audience and making sure that what you're offering fits the customers. I mean, the other thing to keep in mind, especially when we're comparing radio to YouTube, from an advertiser's perspective, your measurement's a little bit different. For radio, you don't have as much um, direct analytics you can measure. Very often you're measuring reach, which is the number of people who hear you out on the radio, which even then like is iffy. So it's just like generally the average number of people who listen to a radio station. You can measure frequency, which is how many times they play your ad. But the most used metric for radio is GRPs, which is gross rating points. So it's basically the number of spots for a single ad placement. So like how many times, like what the ratings are for it. But with your radio ads, you can't really specifically target who you want. What you need to do is you need to reach out to third parties and find data based on who the radio station's target audience is, especially during a different times of the day, during different episodes. Or sorry, I'm not using the right terminology here, but you've got to find out if your audience even matches that. Um, yeah, and you're measuring things like cost per point, which is like what's the cost of reaching like 1% of your audience. So that's why YouTube and radio is a little bit different. With YouTube, you can see how many people listen to the ad, how long they listen to the ad. If they clicked on it, how, like could specifically target. Say, I only want this ad to be shown to, I don't know, like women over 35 who have two kids and a dog or whatever, or and like shoes. But with radio, you're kind of just saying, I think that like based on what these reports are saying, it looks like these stations kind of have a general sense of my audience, and these shows seem to fit my audience segment. So I think this will probably be a good bet for me. So you're not able to target as specifically. Additionally, your CPM or your cost per thousand is usually cheaper on digital marketing than it is on traditional stations like radio and TV. And again, part of that is you also get to target who you specifically want. So not that radio is bad, especially if you need to get like a mass message out there. Like if you are, for example, like a coffee shop, um, you advertising on your local radio station is totally fine because you're trying to just attract local people who drink coffee, which is a good portion of the population. So that's a little bit different, for example, than um, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example here, like um, trying to I don't know, like us trying to sell a specific board game, for example. Like not everybody plays board games. They may not be into that specific genre. Like your targeting is a lot more specific and niche, where that mass marketing isn't necessarily your best bet. I don't know if I've just been talking in circles or if that actually helped anyone. Please feel free to ask.
I love that, Empress. And like I've had success. If I think about spots that I've actually guested on, probably my most successful spot was on WGN radio as opposed to digital marketing. So I don't know. I think it really depends. You have to be really brand aware and understand where your audience is. But I love that. Good stuff.
This is amazing. Thank you so much, Empress and Julie. I was away for a little bit, so I hope you guys could hear me before I was out of the space. But Marcus, that was a great question. I wanted to know if we were able to answer your question because I know that is a very, I'll call it an expense question because you want to know what you want to pay for and you want to get the best bang for your buck. So, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I enjoyed the convo, all the insight. Um, we do a lot of we spend like $22,000 a month on Google, and then like another 18,000 on Facebook. But then we also spend like 8,000 on radio. So we do a lot of ads, a lot of everything, and not as much on YouTube. But me seeing a lot of artists is just always different, or funny to see the response that the world gives those artists that are heard on radio versus the artists that are heard on like Apple or YouTube. And again, it's really ironic. But yeah, you definitely answered a lot of my questions and gave me some things to think about.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you so much for that question. I think you should also maybe in the pipeline consider running Pinterest ads. That is going to be a big move for you because I don't want to speak too much on it, but Pinterest is going to be a place where, especially if you're looking for people who have interest in something, that's where you want to have them at whatever degree, whatever industry. Because people think, Pinterest is just for flowers and vases and real estate and, events, but you can really do a lot there, especially even like in podcasts. People find you there. I feel like Pinterest is a search engine, but it's also a full funnel. It's top of funnel, it's middle of funnel, it's bottom of funnel because you can purchase there, you can consider options there, you can learn something new there. So everything there is good, and people spend about 14 minutes on average on the platform per day. That's on average, and for you to run your credit card through a checkout process, if you look at the average time, it's either somewhere between 2 to 5 minutes. So if someone's spending 14 minutes a day, and you multiply that times five, and you're showing up every day and they're seeing your pins, because every time you open someone's pin on Instagram, sorry, on Pinterest, I'm sorry, on Pinterest, it opens up like your whole board. So let's say you have 300 pins and someone saw one. They come back an hour later, they see another one, another one, another one. Before you know it, they're down a rabbit hole. And now you've been able to strategically place your brand in front of them organically. And then when you pay for that media, they keep seeing you every time. So it gets to the point where every time they show up on Pinterest, they're literally looking at your ads. So there's no way they can miss you compared to all the noise that you get on other platforms that can be very like confusing. But at the end of the day, it works for everybody. All these ad platforms, they do work. But I know like Google Ads is getting more expensive. There's a test that's going on because I'm really big on LinkedIn now. And I've been noticing just based on communication, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I've seen a screenshot and it's going to be very interesting to see how it goes. But Google Ads, and don't quote me, do your research. Google Ads, you know how it's at the top of the search? like it's one, two, three. Very soon, organic is going to replace that. And of course, with SG coming, with AI coming, with Gemini coming, Google Ads is not going to be at the top of the search as it used to be because people are going to look for topical points that's going to get them going. So the ads are going to be placed somewhere in the middle of the Google space, the Google SERP. So if you're spending that money on Google Ads, I would partition that budget and put some of it into Pinterest and get 100% value back because the cost per click, for example, on a Pinterest could be as low as 3 cents. So it just depends on your plan, your budget, your like how long you want to run it. But I'm just giving you that insight because I know like what's coming and I'm not predicting it myself, but just based on research, it's always good to know what's happening, before you spend too much and then things change over time. So just wanted to ask you, Marcus, if you've heard about that before we go to Niles.
Yeah, I mean, yes, we hear a lot about the Google ad spend and all the different options, and I'm not for all the Google ad spend that we actually spend. I like collecting my own data and running short codes and collecting it for ourselves. But my team just loves the analytics and what it looks like you get back for the return on Google and Facebook. But it's definitely not the same. I love the Pinterest option. I'm actually looking for someone to jump on our She's Happy Hair Pinterest account and just kind of run that and lead that through the way. So anybody want to take control of that, slide in my DMs, and hopefully we can digitally get you hired. Appreciate you, Faye.
Yeah, anytime, Marcus. Yeah, I've added you as a friend, and I'll reach out to you so we can see what your plan is for Pinterest because it's untapped. A lot of I don't say a lot of like small businesses run Pinterest ads, and this is a fact. I see Disney, I see Amazon, I see Mastercard, I see Wayfair, I see big brands, putting money on there. Even when the new Apple 15 came out, for a whole month Apple was just running ads on every look and cranny on Pinterest. And they definitely got their money back because that's earned media they were able to get after the ad was spent. Target does that a lot too. You can see a Target ad for 5 seconds and five different frames, colors, 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 and then people are shopping and people are seeing it. So yes, those are big brands, but you too, as a small business owner, as a mid-sized business owner, as a large business owner, as a business owner, period, you can be on that platform too. Spend as low as $1 a day, spend $365 a year, and get data that you can actually convert. So it's really it's a numbers game. So you have to really know what that is about. So Marcus, I'll reach out to you for sure. Thanks for that insight. Niles, we'd love to hear from you, man. Are you back?
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Welcome, man. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the conversation.
Yeah, so paid ads. So, like you were saying, like starting a brand from scratch, I like that idea. A lot of people just jump into the paid ads, but they forget about the topicals and the SEO and the organic side of things. So I like what you're saying about that because it's very important, especially getting the earned media as far as your SMS lists and your newsletters, because I feel like those, those, not even that I feel, those are your hot clients, your hot traffic. So knowing that you have warm to hot leads in your email before you launch, I think is huge because what we're seeing now in the ad space is it's become so competitive. And I think Marcus was mentioning, the kind of budget that they have, but you can see how his budget is diversified between different media platforms. So he's doing radio, he's doing a little bit of online media buying. So their budgets are dispersed. That they're diversified in their media buying. And one thing that sticks out to me when it comes to that strategy is you're not betting on people buying from you. You're just betting on the data, like Marcus was saying, and that's what I see across a lot of brands that are starting. When it comes to ad, a lot of people get frustrated. Some people like strike it gold. Some people get real lucky with running ads and they start, just making a lot of money with paid ads. But some people don't. But they're getting the data and they're able to hone in on those niches. But at the same time, while you're dependent just on those ads, those paid ads, you should be really capitalizing on the SEO and, like you said, getting in front of Google at the top for the topical searches. I learned all that from Hidden, and I've been using those strategies. They've been working for me. They're not as instant as ads or paid ads to get in front of people, but like a month or 3 months down the road, you start to see your stuff at the top, especially YouTube. See a lot of people sleeping on YouTube. Another thing I learned from Hidden is doing your time. And a new thing I learned from you today is doing the same thing with the topical SEO on Pinterest. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, everything's turning to SEO. Even on TikTok, I'm noticing that's like a new search engine where the way people are titling their TikToks have become completely different. So they're labeling them based on the keywords within their niche so that Google can find them. And now I type stuff into Google and TikToks pop up. So it's all across the board. But yeah, just wanted to add that. But yeah, that's my strategy for the title: paid versus owned versus media. You want to get those email newsletters. You want to get those SMS lists, those signups, because you want to be able to own your data, because I hate the fact that we have to pay these big corporations, but now it's pay to play. But like you said, you got a lot of free options with your SEO and your podcasting. You got a lot of free stuff that you can do to go in there and find your audience. You just have to have the right keywords for them to find you and discover you. You know, money flows where energy goes. So if people are searching for certain things, you want to make sure you're there when the searches come up. You want to make sure they find you. So yeah, that's my ad.
I have to, if you don't mind, Favor, can I add to what Now said? So
Yeah.
here's the thing, and I learned this before I even knew search engine optimization. And I love what Niles mentioned about TikTok, because Instagram is doing this as well. Each individual post is being found now versus your whole Instagram account. Here's the thing that is so easy, and you don't even have to use ads, because I never did at first, was simply having your username not change amongst all these different platforms. So I have to use the example of, again, is when I started out, I've been social with Rocky for 10 years now, 10, 11, 12 years on everything, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Pinterest. Everything is social with Rocky. So I built a huge brand presence before I even started running ads. And the second thing is what other people, what people usually don't want to do. And, I get it, the stress management and, woo woo, we want to make sure we're not stressing business. You have to be everywhere. You have to be a growth hacker. Because I am in so many different platforms. You can Google social with Rocky and all of my stuff is there. Matter of fact, Favor was one of the ones that helped me get found in my local area. All people do now is Google me and they hire me right away because I'm in Google My Business, but they see all these other bits of information all over the place for me that they want to hire me, and all my brand is solidified, and now the trust factor is raised as well. So we can use ads to cheat, and we can use ads to do all of these different things, but as a brand as a whole, you have to establish yourself across many platforms, and that is the easiest way to convert ever. Trust me. Okay, passing it back to you.
I always say that though. You want to be omnipresent because you just want to be in different places. Like think of the internet as or these platforms as different highways. They different traffic highways. So you have to understand how the traffic is flowing on that specific highway. So just think of it like that. These platforms are highways. You have to learn how the traffic is flowing on the highway.
Hmm. Exactly. Every exit is a social platform. You have to know where you got to be on. And if I'm going to exit one, it's because I know I got to stop at the gas station for something, or I got to go to Bucky's. Like, now I love Bucky's. Like you got to stop somewhere and get something before you continue your journey. So wherever you're stopping is on a property. If you're driving somewhere, it's to a property. So that property is on a map. And if that map is not accessible, then you can't drive there. So you have to literally reverse engineer your process and look at it from the end goal in mind, with the end goal in mind. If someone's going to listen to this podcast episode or read this blog or find this book, how are they going to find it? How are they going to connect with it? And it's sometimes we think about how do people find us? It's on the internet. It's not hard. But I think where the hard part comes in is, where do people find themselves being seen that has access to people finding them in the first place? And that's where owning your property is. If you're going to build a house somewhere, you're going to do research before you put that first block, right? Because you want to make sure that by the time it's all the way up, people can see it from afar and you can feel like at home. So all those things come down to data, it comes down to analysis, it comes to comparisons, it comes to competitive analysis. All these things have to factor in. But I feel like if you want to really own your media, email is where it's at. You have to have email addresses. If you're on all these social media platforms and you don't have an email list to build with, then you're pretty much building on another man's property. And that's not going to last you a long time, because at some point, if that platform goes down, you go down too. But if Instagram goes down today, if TikTok goes down tomorrow, and you have your email list, you can still get that open rate and still send them to your website, right? That's why YouTube, LinkedIn, they're doing the same thing. If you subscribe to someone's channel and they drop a video, you get an email. If you subscribe to someone's newsletter on LinkedIn and they post something, you get an email. So you should do the same thing too and send an email. If you place an order, you get an order confirmation email. Email is where it's at. So that's where you have to really, point in. John, we'd love to hear from you, and I want to hear from Carrie too. Welcome, Carrie. Go ahead, John.
Uh, Carrie, one of my favorite people. By the way, I just wanted to let you know I'm pretty excited. I just did my first paid Pinterest ad, and it made it super easy. $3 a day for 10 days. I mean, how stinking easy is that? And I use the promote a pin option. So I just want to let you know that. So I did that while I was talking to you. That's how super easy it was.
And John, I just want to let you know I just published my first Newsbreak article.
Oh, I love people that multitask, which the queen is multitasking actually right next to you.
Look at these wins, Favor.
I'm so excited. Look at us working over here. So yeah, we're not just on stage, y'all. We're working. People are placing orders. People are posting things. People are running ads. So yeah, if you've seen what we're doing on stage, you should do the same thing too. Because I feel like that empowers you as well to do more, so you can come back and show more. So that's really the goal here. Thank you so much for all these wins. I'm so excited we're having a room like this. This was supposed to be an hour, and now it's 2+. So we're gonna wrap up soon, but let's keep going. Till we're able to like really calm it down. So please feel free to share the room and connect with people, and bring people into the fold so they can learn more about our topic today. Carrie, we'd love to hear from you. Paid, owned, earned media, and also haven't talked to you in a while. So congratulations on your win. And thank you so much for joining us today. Passing it on to you.
Hi, Favor, one of my favorite people out there. This is such a great room. I'm obsessed with Rocky's Newsbreak move and John's Pinterest paid advertisement. I'm going to have to be on that as well. I like what you had to say about the email list, which I have to I have the email list for my photography business and I have to figure that out for my podcast. My question would be, if someone wants to start from scratch in a new lane, how would you do that? Would you say? I did a Zoom yesterday about Captivation Hub. I don't know much about that. I don't know much about funnels, but I do know about imagery and hooking people through words and images. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna give you the hack right now. The hack is use the glossary method. If you can know the glossary of what you're doing, so many keywords that's untapped in there for any industry that you're in. Pull the glossary of that industry. So many keywords in there that's untapped. You will win.
What do you mean by the glossary? I'm confused by that.
The glossary, so basically the terms, the keywords. The best way to get the keywords is you pull the glossary, what they call the glossary method. So Say we doing podcasts, you could say you just go to Google and say podcast glossary. Look at all the terms. Go look at the search volumes, and then you probably look at the keyword difficulty or whatever it may be.
He probably clicked on someone's face and we can't hear you anymore, Hidden, I think.
I'm still
It
lost
was.
though.
I know where he's
Me
going.
too, yeah, Rocky.
I'm a Hidden. We need you back because that what he just said is something that yeah, I've been testing and it's working. And Hidden, please come back because I want Hidden to finish. What he said is like a game changer. Hidden, are you back?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So basically, when you do the glossary, when you check any industry's glossary, the keywords that's untapped are going to be right there. Not the main anything that's popular is going to be crowded and it's going to be expensive. So if you go for the broad term, it's going to be very competitive and expensive.
But where
If
is
you
this
do-
glossary? Is what I'm trying to figure out. Do I
all you
type
have to
in?
do is all you have to do is type in the industry.
No, every time he gets to the good stuff, he cuts off.
Uh-oh. It's like give me the juice.
I think he's talking about Google research.
I'm talking about any research. It doesn't matter. But yeah, Google mainly. But the understanding how to do actual keyword research is you use the glossary of the industry. But if anybody knows me, anytime I give good information on Clubhouse, they cut me off. So
So are you saying go to like I should type in marketing glossary? Like if
yes,
I'm
ma'am.
oh okay, got you. Okay. I thought it was like a black book or something that I needed. I gotcha.
That's a really good hack, though. You could also, on your own website, like, this is a back end hack for SEO if you're just starting out, like the new website. You can have the biggest glossary in your industry, and it can help you rank a lot faster as well.
And one thing you can do to add on to that too is add schema markup language. That's gonna like that's a whole different ball game.
And to add what you had yesterday, the topical map is important for future dominance in SEO. You want to definitely have relevant topical maps.
Aren't there AI tools that you can kind of search and grab the keywords from the leaders of your industry as well, or from their site? It got to be something like that. I know I
I
heard
mean, I'm
something.
sure
Y'all know anything
there's
about that?
definitely prompts you can use to do that. It's definitely you can do all of that. That's the thing with AI that a lot of people are kind of missing the boat on. That you can use it to basically AI is your handy assistant. It's not gonna do the actual work. You have to know what to put in to extract the information.
Wow. Did you just see that? Wow. Hidden that I don't know how he got cut off. That was so quick. Hidden, are you back? I don't know if it's network.
For some
Okay.
Probably someone
reason, for
else.
Um,
some reason, Clubhouse. That's why I don't talk a lot. Cause
I've never
Clubhouse,
had this
when I do say
experience.
things, they cut me off. Everybody knows. Since the AI rooms, they cut me off every time I talk.
Is it your signal?
No,
Just kidding.
No, Rocky.
Is it your name?
Yeah, I know, right? They're like hidden. Let's hide them. Shoot.
They've got like they've got hidden flagged somewhere where they're like he's giving too much valuable information on Clubhouse and we don't allow that here. So
I don't know how I feel about that because I
yeah,
give a lot of value and I'm never blinked out.
I'm just
I need to up
joking.
my
they,
game.
hey, they've been doing this to me for like 2 years. They've been doing this to me for like 2 years. Like it's proven. I don't know what it is, but they do this to me. So I don't know. But yeah, what I was saying about the AI is you basically have to prompt it correctly. If you just real basic, oh, give me the keywords.
You could also just go to like a website that has the glossary and then use like a scraper tool and scrape it into a spreadsheet, and now you can import that list into your website. So
If you know how to use things like TextRaiser, it definitely can help too.
Another thing you can do too is Pinterest ABC. You can use that as well. Just go to the search bar. You can use the Google search box too, and just type it in. Use the head keyword. Put in the name, and then you just run it down, and that can work for you. And also have your own unique you know, I know right now we want to scrape data. I know a lot of people are like, okay, let's do this, right? Because Kerry asked this question and the room went crazy. And I love this question because when you have a glossary, when you have an FAQ, right, it builds. You can have literally a whole podcast with an FAQ on it, right? It doesn't have to be in text, but that's also good for SEO too. But when you have a glossary, you have an FAQ. Kerry, you asked about having a podcast, website that is separate from your other website. Those are things that are going to also affect your reachability, your discoverability. Now you have two properties. You have a website for your corporate or for your business, and then you have another website for your podcast only, and you're building an email list from that podcast, and those are actual subscribers that you can connect with. And that's where the beginning of building that email list grows, because as soon as somebody listens to that episode, for example, you have an episode on the glossary, and then you link them to the article on your website that has that same thing, or an FAQ that is referring to your business, then ultimately that is owned media that you already have. Now, earned media now comes when they start using it for themselves, and they start talking about, hey, have you checked out this tool? You can check this out. Here's my toolbox. You can be able to create those, experiences for people. I think Vanessa Lau did that as well with her toolbox. Just created a landing page, and you just have all the stuff that you have on Amazon. You can put it out there, and people can purchase them. So there's so many ways to go around it, because all this that you're doing is SEO inclined, because anything that you're putting on your website from an external source is considered SEO, because you're pointing to a server or to a domain that is not yours, that is not your property, but you're leveraging that property. And that can also give you leverage and access long term. So I think if you have like a pop-up on your website separately, that can also help you, build out your podcast, from scratch, and you can start to get emails into your funnel based on the pop-up that you create from your CRM, and then just segment your email out. That's what I'm doing for mine, and I think that's something that if you're able to pull through with your podcast, with your email list, and then build that into your branding framework, then it's just going to be a win-win for everybody. So it's definitely something you can be able to do. I know Empress had something that she wanted to say too, before I pass it back to you, Carrie. Passing it to you, Empress.
Oh, thank you. Um, I've just got some news about three new things from LinkedIn. Number one, which was released I think 2 days ago or something along those lines. If you're a recruiter, there's now a verified recruiter badge, so you can verify yourself. And I believe if you're verified, either a verified recruiter or a verified HR professional or something along those lines, based on their testing, you get a much higher response rate from prospects. The second update, which is probably more relevant for people here, is LinkedIn is currently testing short form vertical video. It's currently rolled out to about 10% of their audience, and they're still testing it. But it sounds like it's going well, so they'll probably roll it out soon. I don't know when. Um, so that's something to keep in mind, especially for all you TikTokers and Instagram reelers. Just, I guess, keep in mind that LinkedIn's audience is a little bit different than Instagram. The third one is they're going to be updating collaborative articles. Again, don't know when, but they're going to be implementing a change where users are also going to be able to start their own collaborative articles and have it like on their like on their profile, like, or on their, like, as like they're the owners of it and anyone can contribute to. So yeah, that's just the news I wanted to share with everyone.
Thank you, Empress. Thank you so, so much. On that part, I didn't want to say anything, so thank God you said it first, because I got an email because I've been working with LinkedIn and Pinterest, and they've been giving me beta access. So right now on my LinkedIn, I do have that feature, the video feature, and it's such a game changer. Where it's like it feels like TikTok. I feel like I'm on TikTok, LinkedIn, and I see like Alex Hormozy. I start seeing like other Neil Patel. I start seeing people that you follow on your feed. It just turns into a whole spiel. So it does work. It's working. It's available. It's a real thing. LinkedIn is a big place to be, especially this year with the AI and the collaborations that's going on. So that feature is bomb. It's really bomb. I just didn't want to say it on LinkedIn on Clubhouse till it's released, but because it's out of the bag, it's out of the bag.
It's technically it's yeah, they're testing it out, but it sounds like they're going to be expanding how many people have access to it in the next little while, and then I think this test case has gone well, so it'll probably be rolled out soon.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a big game changer. And I feel like they're doing it because back then I remember LinkedIn used to have profile videos. So you could put a video of yourself and 30-second clips and people can see your profile like a quick snapshot. So them considering video now outside LinkedIn audio and LinkedIn video is LinkedIn Live is really good. So I think this is really where owned media is starting to really, take form. I'm excited about LinkedIn, yeah, especially if you want to do business, you got to be on LinkedIn. Money's made on LinkedIn, and I've seen that myself. So thank you so much, Empress, for that. Kerry, what are you thinking? I know a lot has been said. So what are you thinking right now?
Well, it was funny because yesterday, and they said, "Are you putting a post or are you commenting on posts?" And I'm like, "Oh, maybe I should comment more." And so I commented on LinkedIn, and a friend reached out and took me out for steak dinner last night. So I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess this is working." And that you're
How'd you like your steak?
oh my god, it's so good. I'm like, I need to do this more. But out of sight, out of mind. So and did. So back in the day, I'd go to a party, go to an event, I'd get 5 jobs because people are like, "Oh, Carrie, I need a new headshot. I need to talk to you about dating or whatever." So I think LinkedIn is somewhere that I'm typically not there. And I listened to that tip yesterday and I went to LinkedIn. Pinterest is my lane in a sense because people go there for photography inspiration. It became wedding photographer's worst nightmare. But I think I can figure out Pinterest, and I'm going to take that challenge. If John J. Wiley has taken that challenge, I think I can do it too. So, yeah, this is a great room, Favor. Thanks.
Thank you, Kerry. I'm glad you're taking on Pinterest. It's going to be a big game changer, especially for podcasting, because a lot of people don't use podcasts on Pinterest, but it's so untapped because all the keywords, literally you're voicing keywords and turning them into transcripts. I even found a quick hack yesterday, which I mentioned in the room yesterday, and I want to mention it again because I know a lot of podcasters are here when you speak on, and we're on Clubhouse too, and this just translates because this came from Clubhouse to the podcast. When you translate your podcast, like when you're speaking, you're recording, and you tell someone, this is what I always do for my guests whenever I have them on my show. How can people find you? And they now say it verbatim, and they actually voice out or pronounce the podcast name or their website name. Now, when you say, like, for example, for me, we don't play podcast.com, as soon as I say that, if you look at the Apple transcript, the Apple podcast transcript, it turns the link into a hyperlink. It turns the text into a hyperlink. And now the purple, hyperlink for Apple Podcast is activated. And now inside that transcript, if somebody's actually speaking and they're using the transcript to read your podcast and go through everything, then someone can actually click through the transcript into your website. So that's also a great place for you to connect with people so that if let's say you're chopping up, clips, someone can find your clip and they can listen to that section for 30 seconds and you can just run that as an ad and let people know, okay, this is the person I connected with, and you build those brand partnerships. So I just thought about that when you mentioned that, Kerry, because I tested it out. I saw it on Apple transcripts and I was like, I took a screenshot, it worked. And I said, I have to tell you guys about this too, because every time I find something cool, I want to tell y'all about it. I can't keep it to myself. I don't know if you guys have seen that before. Go ahead,
Have
Rocky.
not, but I have a ton of Pinterest hacks. But then this will be a Pinterest room, and then we've lost the subject, so I'll just save it. Just know that there are so many cheats in Pinterest, and you can get so many views, and it doesn't even have to be your content. But we'll talk about that at another time.
Yes,
Okay.
we will. This is amazing. Go ahead,
I
Andrea.
was just saying, when's the time? No, I'm laughing because I'm laughing because everyone's talking and there's so much great information, and we're all sitting here also doing work, and it's so funny that I just, guys, like Favor said, when you find something really cool, you have to share it. And I know this is bad for social media, but I'm going to share it anyway. It's just, I don't know if anyone has tried it yet. It's called mymarquee.ai. I literally in 5 minutes, like, just put in a website domain, and it like churned out all these like relevant posts. And you can do like unlimited posts, and it's not that bad in design. I'm a design person too. I'm like, this is bad, but it's good for a content hack, because like you literally just put in your domain. It scrapes all the information, pulls your logo, your brand. It automatically sets it up in the system, and you can try it for free. I'm just like, what the heck is going on? So the AI world is changing a lot of things. But for Pinterest hack or social media hack, take your website, generate hundreds of posts, pin them to Pinterest, and backlink it to your website. And now, in like 3 hours, you have images that are on Pinterest, contextually relevant, and goes back to your website or other
What,
property.
what's it called again?
It's called mymarquee.ai.
My
Can you drop the
M
link in the chat, Andrea?
Yeah, I'll
A.
do that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I was gonna write it out. Um, are you done? I'm sorry, I have something else to share.
Yes, ma'am,
Oh
I'm
my God.
done.
Okay. So I love Go High Level, and I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna keep talking about it. So Go High Level now has conversational AI, meaning that someone can message my Instagram or my Facebook, and my AI will have a full conversation with them and send them my booking link and send them my products that I got programmed into the system. So I can step away. Like, someone sent me a message this morning and they were just talking about complimenting whatever. And it was like, okay, that's cool. I'm glad that your daughter, blah, blah, blah. And then it was like, how can I help you in your business? And then she responded, my AI responded back. They had a whole conversation and it wasn't me. And then the next thing you know, that she's asking me for my link to my services, and my AI automatically sent it. So I got a whole complete sale without having to be there. It's a very casual conversation. It's nothing that you program in. AI is just having its own conversation with the goal of booking or converting for you. So AI is definitely taking it to the next level.
Oh yeah, totally. It did that for me with Honeybook too, Rocky. Honeybook AI literally like scheduled a client, and I got a lead. Somebody just literally, I didn't even, I put a template out, and then an AI composer just literally, I got an email saying, "Hey, Honeybook said, hey, you got a lead. Somebody reached out to you, and reach out to them." And that's how I was able to connect to the person. And I didn't even publish. I've not sent one email. I've not sent one promo, but they found it for some reason, and that's how they got scheduled. So AI is going crazy, and I feel like if you are the brain behind your AI tool, then the AI should do a lot of things for you. You shouldn't use AI generically or as a novice, but use it in a way that you can actually input your brain cells, your brain power, your knowledge, your skills, and let the AI now run everything for you. Project management, research tools, and all these things could work out for you. So it's a big, big thing. So this is a great room, y'all. I'm glad we're here talking about all these things about media. Minnie is here. Wanted to say hi to you, Minnie, because I know you have a question, a contribution. We'd love to
Yeah, so
hear
I
from
do
you.
have a
Go ahead.
contribution. I was waiting, but so I just subscribed to, and it took me forever. My friends were like, "What the heck were you waiting on?" But I just signed up for ChatGPT 4 or plus, and like I was just playing around, and the other day I was just playing around, and I haven't done it yet, but man, like I am really thinking about putting my brain in a bot because like I was looking around, I was testing to see, I was checking the GPTs that are already on to see if there was one about accessibility, digital accessibility, and I can't find one. So I am starting that process, but man, like I'm gonna go check that out. That one that Andrea said. That sounds like really awesome. Yeah, I don't know, but there are several other ones that other schedulers that um that I heard about. There's this one, I don't remember what it is. I think it's Opus. I think no, I don't remember what it is offhand. However, um, the founder of this AI, basically what he did was he I was on a summit the other day talking about AI, and one of the speakers called in to this AI. It was like he called from his phone, right? And the AI literally said, "Hi, so and so, how are you?" Blah, and they were having a whole conversation, right? And he was asking it questions because I guess it's like an appointment setter, and literally, um, it told him that he could not I guess he wanted him to wanted the AI to text him the information so that he could read it to us on the Zoom. Well, he couldn't, but the AI said, "Hey, let me get your email, and we can and I will send you over a a a flyer about the other services that this particular AI offered." And I thought it was so interesting that literally you can use AI to set appointments, and you can actually talk to the AI and tell it what you want. I just thought that was so cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's changing the game for everybody. And I feel like if you're not on this AI wave right now, I don't know what to tell you because in a year or two from now, so many things are going to be happening with AI, and you need to have AI skills at some form, level, fashion, shape because it's going to help you do some things, and you have to also think outside the box. So I'm excited about where this is going. You know, Google, Gemini, I know even with the iOS 18, there's going to be a whole new thing going on for search. So how people are going to be searching with the new iPhones is going to be different because Google partnered with Apple. You guys can do your research and check that. So Gemini AI incorporated into your Siri, you know, it's going to be a very interesting thing to discover. So right now, if you really want your brand to be seen, you want to be heard, you want to be remembered, you have to own your media, and it starts off with your website. All these platforms we're talking about, they're all websites: Facebook, Clubhouse, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. These are all websites first. Yes, they're businesses. Yes, they're registered corporations, but they're also websites. They're also apps. They're also communities. So if you look at your business and take that model and ask yourself, can I create a vertical, asset as a business like that? I have one business, but I'm able to have this, 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 and this. You can go to Walmart, you can still get McDonald's. You can go to Target, you can still get Starbucks. You can go to, a place and get another thing. So if you have a business and you're building a brand, what collaborations are you creating with other brands that you're creating on your own, territory, and you're building that within those other territories? So you connect with people, you show up, you also focus on your local target marketing, and you start connecting those dots. Because if you have a podcast talking about your local area and you're like, here are the 5 top things to do in your city, it's going to work. When you look at people that, listen to Spotify, if you don't have Spotify Premium and you listen to Spotify and you pay attention to the ads that they're running there, they're only going to run ads to you because you're in that city. So they'll be like, hey, Texans, or hey, Floridians, or, hey, New Yorkers. They'll say something that is going to attract your attention in the first 3 to 5 seconds. So if you're building an awareness campaign with your owned media and you're posting on social media, the first place on your social media that should have the most reach should be your location. It's subjective, but you should be able to look at your media, your graph, your Instagram, your profile, your analytics in general, and notice that if you're operating from a local business standpoint, but you're also trying to be a global, business, then when you start seeing other countries, other states, other cities, other zip codes, other regions coming to your show, coming to your podcast, coming to your website, coming to your feed, then you know you're doing something right. But a lot of people just stop there and they're like, oh, we're getting traffic from all these places. But test the markets. Run an ad in Australia, run an ad in Finland. Right. I got to know that Sweden has a huge population for podcast listeners. Colombia is a good place to run ads. Brazil is an emerging place for podcasts. So you don't have to run all your ad spends in the US, because it might be expensive, but run it somewhere else, right? I'll give you all a great hack. If you guys haven't tried this is what a lot of people try. I don't know why today is just a giving day, but I just feel like it's good energy. So if you guys catch on to this, you can try it out. What people do, and not everybody, but some people do this. Have you ever gone on Instagram or Facebook and you see, why does this post have 3 million, likes, or 3 million, responses? What people normally do, and it's marketing, it's test marketing, it's allowed, but you also have to do strategically, is people will run ads within, let's say, the first 14 days to maybe, let's say, 90 days in a market, an emerging market, get a lot of clicks that's going to contribute to a lot of likes, and those likes are going to be compounded. So let's say you get to 100,000 or 200,000 likes on Instagram and you're running an ad in Brazil, or you're running it in South Africa, right? And you get, let's say, to 100,000 or maybe to a million, and then you switch the ad country, switch the ad location, and you push it to your own primary location. People get to see that number and they're like, oh, 3 million or 2 million. What does that mean? Now, you're not doing that because you're trying to get clout. You're doing that because you're building data reports. So the front end is looking at the number of likes, the number of comments. The person at the back end, which is you, the business owner, is looking at data and asking yourself, okay, I ran this ad in 3 countries and I got 3 results. Where can I spend the most money in the first country that gives me the first party data? I'm going to choose that country. So if you're creating content and you're doing paid media, whatever you're earning back is not just conversions, leads, sales. Those are great things, but you're also getting data back, because that data you're getting is allowing you to come back stronger. Because if you run an ad in 10 zip codes and 20% of those zip codes do better than 80% of them, I'm going to drop the 80% and focus on the 20%, because you need to start thinking about doing revenue generating activities. Revenue generating activities. When you start focusing on the things that are important, your emails, your podcasts, all those things that people are receiving, at some point they're going to enjoy your content because you've been showing up every day. Someone like Seth Godin, he makes an email every day, even if it's one word. He sent an email every day without fail. Seth Godin does that. We talked about marketing. So marketing is ongoing. Seth Godin, as an OG as he is, he's still learning, right? Myron Golden, still learning. Alex Hormozy is still learning. You and I still learning. So we are all on the same page. So don't think of anyone higher or lower. We are all the same. We're all geniuses. We all have something that we can give to our communities, because he can reach your community, she can reach your community unless you allow them to reach your community, right? And your community is your asset, it's your protective space, it's your intellectual property. So if you're building connections with people and you're thinking about earned media, why not charge someone that wants to collaborate with you and build them to put you on their email list? So let's say you have a slot on your email list and somebody wants to pay you, let's say, $100 to advertise their product. You upload their picture into your email, and that's an ad slot. You put that into a blog, that's an ad slot. So don't think too far about monetization and think about the millions or the hundreds of thousands. Think about the $1 you can make. That $1 can make an impact. So focus on owned media first. Own your media, own your website, own your email list, own your first party data, own your business, own your brand, right? Own the substance in your brand is determined by you. Once you own that, then you can start earning. And then when you start earning, you get paid on top of that, right? For me, mine, before Andrea said hers, mine is own, then paid, then earned. Hers is owned, earned, and paid. And John's is also, owned, paid, and earned. And however it goes, If you notice there's a one common denominator among all of them: owned first. You can't run paid media or earn media if you didn't own it first. You can't give what you don't have. So the more you give, the more you receive. It's a biblical principle, it's a fundamental principle, it's a logical principle. The more you give, the more time you give something, the better it gets. The more energy you give it, the more you get back. The more time you spend with someone, the more you get to know them. So the more, the better, the more, the better. The less, the lesser, the more, the better. So we want to wrap up this room because we've had a great topic. We've had this conversation from 7:30 Central, and we've been having this for about 2 hours now. So I hope you guys have learned something new. And there are a lot of heavy, heavy, heavy hitters here in the room today that have come and gone. So I want to start off with Minnie. We're gonna come up to me. From Minnie, then Niles, then Carrie, then Empress, and Andrea, Lisa, Julie, Rocky, and then John, and then me. In 1 minute, let us know how people can connect with you, what you have going on in your own owned media space. So passing it on to you, Minnie. Minnie might be away from her phone, so let me know when you're back, Minnie. Niles? Okay, Niles might be away too. Carrie?
You're striking out left and right, favor.
Who is
Let's
here?
go.
Let's
Right?
let's go. I'm ready. I'm so excited about this room. I just need to follow Favor all over. I'm Carrie Brett. I'm a professional photographer from Boston. You can find out more about me on Instagram. I am always on Clubhouse, Podcast Pros. I frequent. I'll be there later on today. My show is Shot at Love. I've been the host of that for 4 years, and I talk about all things dating and finding love. So happy to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carrie. Empress?
You'll find me in Favor's rooms and Rocky's rooms, and sometimes you'll find me stalking John a little bit. But yeah, no, I just like to stay hidden. Thanks.
Thank you, Empress. Appreciate you. And also put your links in the chat, Carrie and Empress, as we go up as well. Now, and Millie, if you can hear me, you can put your links as well in the chat as well. Andrea,
My name is Andrea, and I help business owners start and scale their revenue online. Past 3 years, we built several $1 million companies at scale with very small teams. So if you want to reach out to me, you can just reach out to me on Instagram. I'm an open book. Or you can visit my website and sign up for the free newsletter, which is easymvphq.com. That's it.
thank you, Andrea. Lisa,
Hi, everyone. I'm a little rusty. It's been a couple months since I've been up here on stage and talking. But if you don't already know me, my name's Lisa. I am a diabetes educator and a registered dietitian. Yes, Rocky. And I love sharing with people who have diabetes and who are at risk for diabetes like me because it's a family thing for me. I love sharing information to help you ultimately get your A1C down, to help you, get off of insulin if that's a goal for you, to help you decrease the amount of medications that you're on, to get you from, being tired of going to the doctor's office and getting the news that your levels are still out of control or that you're months from losing a toe or, or worse. So, I mean, I know that it sounds harsh, but those are the realities of diabetes that I deal with every day with my clients. And I help them reverse all of those things. So if you want to work with a registered dietitian with years of experience and who has the testimonials to show that I can put my money where my mouth is, then I'm going to put my link in the chat. It's also, for those who are listening, LisaNorrisRD.com. Thank you, Favor.
Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate you.
I'm back, Faber. Sorry about that. My phone went haywire.
No worries. You could go ahead. It happened.
Oh, good morning, everybody. This is Danielle, or affectionately known as Minnie Mouse, but I go by Danielle, and I am an accessibility tester. I also am in the process of starting my own business to help female entrepreneurs who are either starting their business and really want to, or if you already have a business and you want to. Explore the possibilities of making sure that your digital products and services that they're accessible to um, the blind and visually impaired community, because as a person who's blind and visually impaired, it's so important that I let entrepreneurs know of the fact that you are sleeping on a market that can not only help you get your bottom line, which is money, but also we can refer people to you, and if only your website or your digital products and services are accessible. And so if you want to know more about how I can help you, please just send me a DM on Instagram. I'm actually working on getting my website back up. I've been busy with some other stuff, so it has taken a back seat. But yeah, please reach out to me on Instagram. You can also follow me on Twitter as well, but I prefer you DM me on Instagram, and I'll be glad to get on your calendar, man, and let's have that coffee chat because accessibility is just as important as digital currency. So I'm complete.
Thank you, Minnie. Thank you so much. Appreciate you for being here with us. Julie,
Thanks, Favor. You know, you're my favorite. And I'm going to fight Carrie to see who loves you more. But honestly, I am someone who takes businesses and brands and takes them to the next level through public relations, getting you seen, getting your message heard. And I believe in the power of Google. So I want you just to Google my name, Julie, Lokun. Check it out because you'll see everything that I'm doing. So thanks, everybody.
Dang it, Julie stole
Yeah,
mine.
I did,
Okay.
Rocky. You can use it though. We're
I
all
was gonna say Google me B
yeah.
word if y'all ever heard that saying
Well,
before.
Google us both.
No, hey you guys. So marketing expert. I've been doing this for 10 plus years now, and I help business owners actually make sales through automation. So from social media all the way up until the end. So Minnie, did you want to add?
Hold on.
Okay. Um, from content creation all the way through the sales system funnel. So helping them build out their email marketing campaign, their landing pages, sales pages, chatbot automation, and your ads all in one system. So you can have it set up and be done with it and enjoy the rest of your life. And yeah, just Google me social with Rocky. My biggest platform right now is on Instagram, but I actually, surprise, surprise, have been leaning in on LinkedIn as well. So if you can find me on LinkedIn, follow me there because I am active on that platform now.
amazing. Thank you, Rocky. John,
I got to give a shout out to someone that's on stage. Carrie Brett's show is now in Apple Podcast charts, United States of America, self improvement, for the first time that I can ever recall. I'm so and I just emailed you a screenshot of that. So you can get me at my main show website, which is letradio.com. Contact me page there. And right now, I'm really focusing on uh, helping podcasters that want to make the leap into radio. I do work with Talk Media Network for syndication. So if you want to do that, I'm also expanding into uh, accessing media buyers and monetizing shows, which we're in the early stages of, and really focus on show quality, show structure, discoverability using social media, primarily Facebook. That's one of my main strategies. And since we're doing this room favor, I want to let you know I did that Pinterest ad, which you talked about, which is so easy, and I did an article news break, Rocky. So if I can do this, anybody can. It's about increasing your searchability, your backlinks, your domain authority, and then getting more people in front of your eyeballs, in front of your products, so your services. Why not? You spend all the time creating great content. Why not make a little bit more effort that's cost effective, that's productive, to get more people aware of what you do? Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll add to John. We're like tag teaming in here. I just took that Newsbreak article. I sent it to my email list. I posted it in my school community. I posted it on LinkedIn. That's all it takes, you
Damn, you
guys.
go, girl.
Literally.
You go, girl. Here's what I would tell, and Julie kind of hit it on this. What I do is I took an article about a police officer was shot by accident in South Florida. I took two news sources. I copied and pasted all their content. I copied their user URL, gave them attributions, and then I put the whole thing through ChatGPT to rewrite this as a news article. Posted up there. I use public domain images, so they're good, and I posted on Newsbreak and Medium, Julie. So it took me, I thought, about 5 minutes, and it's brainless.
And that's why I hate when people say I don't have time to do stuff.
I just want to say real quick, Rocky, a tip for you because you're so vocal and present on Clubhouse. Wherever you go, ask people to follow you in the Newsbreak app. So you can follow John. I'm under Shot at Love, Carrie Brett. That's the hardest piece of Newsbreak is getting the organic or the in-view followers. You need 100 followers to monetize and to get paid. So that's something you should be asking people to do because you want to monetize as quick as possible. So you go, girl.
Thank you. And I can get that probably today because I have so many different followers. So I will do that, Carrie. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. This has been a great room. For those hearing me for the first time, my name is Favour Obasi-ike. I'm based in Houston, Texas, and I am the founder at Work and Play Entertainment and also we don't play podcast.com, where you're able to learn how to grow your business and scale it at a measurable amount that allows you to be very feasible and also be very specific with your goals. I've been able to help small and large companies globally and also nationally as an SEO specialist and also a data marketing strategist, where I'm able to help them increase their conversion rates by focusing on email marketing, Pinterest SEO, and podcast SEO specifically, and of course website SEO, which is the ballpark. So if you want to be part of that, please make sure that you click the link at the top. If you want to be part of the Podcast Growth Academy waitlist, if you want to learn how to scale your podcast, if you want to start a podcast, if you do want to monetize, it's available for you. I'm going to be sending a couple of emails towards the end of this month. So just sign up, leave your first name and email. Let me know what you want, and then you can be redirected to get on a call with me so we can talk about the things that you need for your podcast. Because my goal this year is to hit 50 podcast shows. We're already down 5, and there are already 5 in the pipeline, so that's 10. So we're already 10 out of 50, and it's not even the end of quarter 2. So I really have this ambition that I want to help businesses that have a voice, that have a unique product offering, a unique selling product, proposition as well, to give their best and use podcasts as an arsenal for them to get the maximum reach for their business. Because right now what I've done is I've partnered up with a company, and we're going to be doing with our clients is we're going to be ending up your podcast on CNN as an advertising slot, and also AP News as well. So it's pretty much hyper target marketing this year and focusing on where your niches are, because when you know where your audience is, you can easily make sure you can get a lot of things through the door. A platform like CNN has about 1 billion impressions a month, and if you're getting about 20% of that audience, and you know what they're doing, you can definitely get through the door and make sure that your money is spent and you get the best bang for your buck. So everybody on here, John, Rocky, Julie, Lisa, Andrea, Empress, Carrie, and Minnie, are all amazing. Reach out to them, follow them on the app, because sometimes we're also not on the app at the same time. So follow them on social media, follow them where they're at. Check the links in the chat, save this replay, check all the links that are available here, and listen to this replay. Because if you're listening to replay, for the first time, for the third time, for the fifth time, for the upteenth time, at the end of the day, what you've learned from this room should take you from point A to point B. And I don't even think we need another clubhouse room on this topic, because everybody covered everything. But I definitely think this is going to be a great conversation for the next room. One topic I'm thinking about too, let me know what y'all think and put a one in the chat. I'm thinking about doing, audio versus video podcasts. That's going to be a big threshold. So I want to know what you guys are thinking. Put a one in the chat if you want us to go into that, because there's a lot of conversation going about, am I going to do audio? Am I going to do video? So put a one in the chat if you want us to do a room on that. And I'll be able to bring that information to you, have a heavy, room discussion like this, because they're both good. It just depends on what you want and what's a possible outcome. And I know we're all going to have our own opinions. And I think that's the great part about, having conversations, because we're all entitled to our own opinion. But when we now bring them together, we have a better understanding and have more informed decisions to make that can keep us at, a really high level. So thank you all so much for being here. I want to acknowledge as well Hafe. He's been here the whole time. Thank you for being here. Jermaine as well. Shay. I know Shay was in the gym taking notes. So thank you for being here as well, Shay. Deborah, you don't guess it. Ty, Joseph, Derek, Stefan, thanks for being here, man. Howard and Search, Search Bomb. Thank you all so much for being here. You guys have been amazing. And to my amazing family on Clubhouse, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. It's a beautiful day outside. Stay hydrated, stay warm, and stay blessed. I'm going to see y'all in the next Clubhouse room. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.